like I say, it just speaks. It speaks volumes to the point where someone has to be aggressive enough to take charge of the situation, to get the task accomplished. Preferably, hopefully, teach others what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that ain't enough. You got to be able to enforce, follow through with getting it done, and enforce the consequences
if it's not
of not doing it.
If it's not,
So you got to be confident enough to be this 3, 4, 5 people
every day,
while being yourself.
Every day.
And learning and making mistakes. I mean, dude,
Imagine
how many of us are equipped emotionally these days to be that 3, 4, 5 people in one. It's not common anymore.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot.
It's not common anymore.
It's not a lot. It should be a freaking applaud.
Our leadership has gone. It's been suppressed under drama, emotion, especially not listening. And I say it, man, and I may be too aggressive. I may be bound to be single for the rest of my damn life. I may be too aggressive to sustain certain things because my big thing is, how are you gonna be? Wait, admit in some of our relationships, I think dealing with you was a blessing. God had really brought me someone that sees things a certain way, that's strong enough, blah blah blah. But as soon as you hear one thing you don't like, nothing else said, nothing else you believe matters.
Cause I don't like that.
This thing is sparking that war. And
nothing else is coming off of that.
That war may blow up your spot.
Depends on who you are as an individual. You can say, you know what, I see this is going to a war zone. Let me stop you right there. It depends on the individual because, but you said earlier, if you're dealing with the emotion aspect and the individual that's dealing with their emotions, just like the young lady's dealing with her emotions, guess what? You don't get no result. All you get is a bunch of hollering, a bunch of yelling, a bunch of screaming, but no results because it's all emotion.
You can't hear nobody tell you what's next.
You won't because you won't listen because and that's the thing because it's all and I think that's what we have to speak to, man. I think to add more as young men. To the young men, like I said, we speak because we're men. I speak to the level that the generation that I see. Hey, brother, y'all got to step up and stop being as emotional and listen to what's being said. And then you know what? We can be wrong. You can be wrong. You don't know everything. We don't know everything. We don't do everything right just because we're men. We can be wrong, but we can learn. I think that's what we have to get back to, though, man. Iron sharpening iron and truly having those conversations. But most of the time, we're so tight-lipped when we're around each other, we don't even because we're dealing with the stuff. We're dealing with so much stuff. It's like I ain't feel like talking right now. Well, maybe you just left drama at the house, or
you again, our emotional opinion has so much weight these days. People get tired of being judged, man. People get tired of being, I hear.
So that's too much judgment.
I hear women all the time, men don't even approach women no more, man. Niggas get tired of being rejected
because they look you up and down. If you don't have,
you got to train yourself to be able to handle rejection. And you got to train yourself to be constantly let down. And, like I said, if you call yourself maybe a manager, maybe a supervisor, maybe a business owner, if you have people under you, imagine who you have to be to get productivity out of all this opinion, out of all this emotion, out of all, you have to be a special type of person. And it's so draining that a lot of people opt out of this shit.
Because you're not managing just a business, you're managing emotions. You're managing people. Think about the average time you spend on a job. 40 hours a week. At least 8 hours a day. You're spending a whole bunch of time with these people and these people's emotions. And so guess how energy travels just like it is. So if their energy is negative, it's going to dump on you. So you got all this coming on you and you still have to do your job as a manager and make the numbers right. And keep the profit and loss right, and do this right, and do that right. You said it takes a special person in order to be able to do that, and everyone's not qualified. Manager is a qualified title, but you don't necessarily have to be a qualified person to be one, and that's why some people are managers and they used to be managers.
Right. Hey, a lot of people are not equipped, and in any respects, a lot of us are equipped, but get to the point where I can't physically, emotionally, spiritually continue to be beat down by so many different angles.
Gotta go.
Maybe one I
Some has a give.
Maybe one angle I can handle.
Yeah.
But the 2 or 3 that continue to weigh on me.
Yeah.
I gotta shed some of this shit.
Big old limb right on a tree. Ice storm.
But I gotta shed it while still providing. While still being who I need to be for those relying on me.
While receiving everything at every angle.
So, in real life, a lot of times, you learn how to deal with and dig your ass in. And I said it on several occasions because I cleaned up several businesses for several companies, and that is probably one of the dirtiest opportunities to to go in and try to do, because there's so many people talking about you, criticizing you, looking at you, maybe supporting you. I mean, you're trying to turn things around, so you really have to just say, I won't be defeated by the task. Mm-hmm. It's going to be difficult.
Right.
And I have stated out loud everything about this location or this unit or this site or this particular... Go ahead and put all the negativity on me, because after me, it won't be none. After me, it's going to be organization. And I try to say, we try to get a process in place so it start running like a well-oiled machine. Like I say, Elway, Terrell Davis, Denver Bronco team. You can plug anybody there. Bill Belichick coach team. You see what I'm saying?
Plug and play.
You can plug anybody in there doing the proper job, and everybody not named, famously, can still get it done. Because the process and the program dictates the discipline to get the shit done. Get the task done. Then start worrying about what happened, how you feel. But you always focus on what's next. You always focus on what's next. And then also, all right, say in New England, we just talked about it. The aggressiveness has to also be there. And clearly, you got to have the right balance of that. But people be like, I'm not the biggest New England fan. I'm really not a New England fan, but I respect that organization right now, that dynasty that's been in my lifetime, I understand. From Drew Bledsoe, I like Drew anyway. So from there, that winning they started doing at that time, you have to attribute to this right here. People like, man, they cheaters, they blah, blah, blah. You calling it cheating because New England did it before anybody else knows what was being done, and they had to decide what it was. So they don't cheat. They are the best at pushing the boundary to see where the limit is, and clearly for everybody else. So they pushing the boundary for everybody to see where the limit is. Hence, now you got a tuck rule. Now they feeling on football every Sunday.
Yeah, how much air in this ball? Yeah. Because of them. Hey, how much air in this ball? Make sure we got that.
Now coach got that damn playbook on the fade.
Up to his man.
Hey, bro, because New England was on the other sideline videotaping that sideline.
Hey, they finna run play XY 30. Yeah.
Best at pushing. They are controversial at pushing the boundary until you draw a line.
And don't care about it.
Hey, that's what make them best. That's what make them good. That's why they the dynasty. It's one of the biggest reasons why they the dynasty that they are.
Because the opinions don't really matter.
They setting the standard for doing it. Hold on. You can't do this now.
Oh, really?
We know you're good.
We can't do that?
We've sat down and reviewed the tape and thought about it. And no, you can't bring a damn camera to your sideline that pointed to that sideline.
I didn't know. My bad. Thanks for telling me.
They were like, hey, listen, we can't do this now. The wrist. So the first time I saw one of your players was one of the little tire gauges letting the air out the ball.
We realized that's maybe a problem.
But now since we reviewed the tape and to talk to so many other witnesses.
Oh, you can't take the air out the ball? I ain't know.
Do that.
I ain't know. My bad. Thanks for telling me.
You know what I'm talking about?
Thanks for letting me know. We won't do it again after we done won the game. And they won't take the game. Then now the results of the game don't change.
Hey,
right?
You have to.
If you get a W by doing the attack, you still keep the W, right?
You got to know where your boundaries are.
Yeah.
Somebody got to push them shits so they can be set.
Guess what?
Somewhere. If you're the boundary pusher, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be one of the best. 9 times out of 9, you're going to be talked about. You're going to be hated on. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to endure some criticism and some scrutiny, and a bunch of other vocabulary words that may apply. And it might be justified as well, but at the same time, you wind up being able to afford the punishment and still be on top. And now you are damn near intimidating the others. Because you boundary pushing. So if you're going to deal with me, you got to keep up. Mm-hmm. Be on your best. Because I'm boundary pushing, dog. I'm going to run through you if you sitting there worried about where the boundary at. Nigga, we pushing you down so we can look at it, so we can move it. Mm-hmm. We can move it forward. So you got to be that, dog. That's where our leadership going to come from. We got to teach these little niggas. You know what I'm talking about? You got to have respect for your women. You got to have respect for your family. You got to want to be there. But we got to get on we got to teach this next generation. I see you with the kid up and down the stairs. you have to be that boundary pusher. You have to also be neutral from time to time. You also have to be supportive of, so you got to be that 3, 4, 5 people.
It's a balancing act.
You got to take that rock to the head
because you got to be, and you got to be able to know that, and you got to be able to know when to do that, man. Like I said, I think that's what comes with growth. That comes with maturity. That comes with just on the job training.
And that's what we owe each other. You see what I'm talking about? The iron sharp. When you look at being a Christian, you talk about Galatians. You know what I'm saying? I think Galatians 6, blah blah. I get some of the numbers were forgotten, but right, short term memory loss or whatnot. But you like the load is like, I think Tony Evans, in Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship,
like Tony Evans,
he's a teacher.
Shout out Tony Evans.
He is a teacher.
Shout out Tony Evans,
and he puts the word in you on a Sunday or whatever that carry you
Monday,
Thursday,
Tuesday,
Friday.
Wednesday,
it
resonates.
That's what that cat meant. I just found myself paying more attention to myself. So my reaction was better to something that happened, that really had nothing to do with me. People bring shit to me. So, but what he stated, is that load is like a backpack, little satchel. You pick that up, you carry that yourself, dog. That's yours. As a Christian, you know what I'm saying?
Carry
but the burden is like a heavy rock, a casket. You need 4, 5 people
to carry for you.
We are charged at carrying our own load. In Galatians, will break it down.
But carry one another's.
But you have to, as a Christian, help the next Christian with his burden. You have to. But you also got to be cautious. You know what I'm saying? Because taking on too much, ain't nobody finna get help. You know what I'm saying?
Because you still got your load.
Hey.
Your load ain't went nowhere. Your load ain't went nowhere. This is mandatory. This is a mandatory load that you got.
And if you're not willing to carry it, you ain't going no goddamn way. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be there. Right there. So this is what we have to get back to teaching and making sure the next one of us strong enough to carry. Ain't no other way. Ain't no other way because, again, it's not just whites. It's not just Mexicans. It's not just blacks. The policing of this country, when you look at, again, certain, how they make the word, whatever, certain, referendums and certain rules and laws and you're overturning things in Congress and in the government now, programs that assist, certain class people.
Yes.
You're talking about things that was protecting certain lands. You're talking about things that would allow rights and rules and regulations to be implemented, right, so a certain group of people don't continue to be exploited. You know what I'm talking about? And really just driven out and beat down and incarcerated and oppressed in a legal situation.
Right.
Stuff that's put in place, all right, to benefit others. You can't continue to tell that large of a group of people you don't give a damn about them. You can't continue to tell the rest of this globe that you don't care. You can't continue to do that and survive, right? So we have to teach the next generation, look, it don't matter about none of that. Your little circle, your home, your community, your family, your friends, your village, y'all going to be strong regardless, because guess what we're going to represent? This strength now, this boundary pushing, and taking the repercussions and keep pushing.
But if you got a collective group doing that, though, man, guess what? Whatever the repercussions are, say if these repercussions are you get fired from your job, I'm hiring over here. Say if the repercussions is that you get money, you see what I'm saying? That's why you got to have a network.
I say about Kaepernick, he done put, in my opinion, he have done enough on this planet right now. If something happened to that boy, short of death, somebody gonna prop that boy up. He done helped enough people. A group of folk, they gonna prop that boy up. God gonna see to it. Why? We need people like him pushing boundaries out there.
He planted the right seed.
We need him pushing boundaries. Ain't no other way to win.
Well, you see what the other thing is. That's what I tell people all the time, though, man. We steady asking. Obviously, the answer is no. Because obviously it's no. We shouldn't have to ask no more. We don't have to ask. No, there's like the one guy said, man, I heard this guy say, man, no permission needed. We don't have to ask for anything. Let's just collectively go do it. Bottom line, what's stopping you? We brilliant as a people. If everybody play their role as a people and realize that, see, if we come with a collective, that's the reason why I think, man, there's really no true results, because there's no truly collective agenda. There's agendas, but there's no collective agenda. Right. And we say, okay, you know what? Let's say we got 10 things on. Let's say we got 10 different